Teresa, welcome to the Retail Whore Podcast.
Ow.
I am so honored that you're here. I met you over the summer when I came out to Atlanta to work in America's Mart, and I went through your store, which is so beautiful. But honestly, your whole persona, your style, your grace, like you are amazing. And you are what I was like, okay, I need to have you on the podcast and talk. And then we started talking deeper about the business and whatnot. And I heard your background, and I'm so honored that you are here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate you, Michelle.
So before we get into any of it, please introduce yourself. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what your background is prior to your retail store.
Okay. My name is Teresa Caldwell. I am the owner of the Taste Boutique. I'm also an interior designer, and I'm also Bow Wow's mom.
I didn't know that either.
You didn't know?
Holy shit, no. Okay. This just got better.
Because yes, I'm Bow Wow's mom. So I started in fashion, being a celebrity stylist when I started styling him as a kid.
Oh.
So I've been in fashion for so long. Like, I love fashion. I love, eat, sleep, everything fashion and interior design. Those are my favorite things.
So how long were you a stylist for? And you were a stylist in California, in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I was a stylist for probably about 15 years. And then when we left California and moved here, what made me get into retail was when I got to Atlanta, I'm like, where am I going to pull clothes from? Like, where am I going to pull from? There was no fashion here to me. So I opened up a boutique, a small little boutique, and I carried all of my favorite brands. So I was able to pull from my own boutique. And then it just grew from there.
So tell everyone a little bit about, I want to ask you about the styling, because I know styling from being in Fred Siegel, and I know, how stylists work, but give everyone a little bit of background on what it is to be a stylist and what it looks like in Los Angeles and kind of what your job looked like.
Well, being a stylist, of course, we are in charge of a lot of celebrities' wardrobe. It can be like, I did like Mike, so I was over all the wardrobe, and my son's videos, and going to on tour. So we have to put together the entire wardrobe, and then we go to different stores and we pull. So we take them out on consignment, a consignment order. And so then the celebrities wear it, and then if they want it, they can buy it. If not, then we have to take it back. So I did that for so many years, and I finally retired from it because it was so much work. Like, it's a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of work. Back then, when I was a stylist, we made a lot of money, because you figure for me to my day rate was like $3,000 a day.
Wow.
So now it's nothing like that now.
Nowhere to reach more.
It's so much cheaper now. Like, you guys are kidding me? You're selling for $500 a day. I'm like, my day rate for me just one day was $3,000.
But you were working for big celebrities, so it's a lot easier to command that, I think, than for some of the smaller. It's Janine from Fred Siegel Flair, right?
Yes.
Janine, we had Janine on. She was on in the very beginning, and she talked a lot about being a stylist and all the schlepping and going in and out of stores and how much you have to pull, and and then you take it, and then you have the fittings, and then you have to take what doesn't work. You have to.
A lot. Well, I had a team, so I really never had to do the returns. So I had a team, so my team would do all the returns. I never had to do the return. Never. And you have to have a credit card too, because, back then we had to put our own personal credit cards down, and then we would have to invoice the label to get paid. So a lot of times I wouldn't get paid for anywhere from 30 to 90 days before I got a check.
And these are not inexpensive clothes. Just so everyone understands, these are most of the time couture, high-end brands. And when you're buying in multiples the way you are when you're styling, I can only imagine some of your credit card bills.
Oh my God. So my credit card bills are so high. Yeah. So what we would do, we would pull the clothes. I would pull from Gucci, a lot from Gucci, a lot of boutiques and designer brands I will pull. And so what they have is a restocking fee. So I would have to pay a percentage of what I pulled, when I took it back to the store. So if I pulled $20,000 worth of merchandise, the restocking fee would probably be 5%. So that means, so they would have to get those clothes, cleaned and stuff. But a lot of them were samples. So it's not like I was pulling clothes off the floor.
I always wondered what you do when you send something out and the client doesn't want it, but they wore it and then they like spilled something on it or it tore, or, I forget whose jewels got stolen out of the hotel room. Like what does that conversation look like?
Oh man, thank God I never experienced that at all. I never ever experienced that. So I don't know, but a lot of times, the label, if something like that, because a lot of times the client, when they want to keep the clothes. So, and they have a budget, so they can keep the clothes that they want to, but the label will have to pay for it, or they will have to pay for it. But if something is damaged, then of course we will have to pay for it. And it wouldn't be me, I would bill the label for it.
Do you have to have insurance, like liability insurance, the way a lot of things, if something I know the diamond people do when they take the diamond out, but does high-end apparel also have the same liability
No, not then they did. And I don't think they do now either.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine, because I know what some of that costs for. So why did you move to Atlanta? I do have to ask that.
Yeah, I moved to Atlanta because my son wanted to be closer to his producer at the time, which was Jermaine Dupri. Okay. So that's why he came here. He wanted to be closer to him, Rick 40,
And how long were you in Atlanta before you decided to open a store?
Immediately. I wasn't in Atlanta no time. I was probably in Atlanta like 6 months and I had a store. I wasn't here long because I'm like, what am I going to do? So I wasn't here long and I opened a store ASAP.
So what I think is there's a lot of people that open stores that have never had retail experience, and there's a lot more that goes into it. So how did you approach it? Was it more about obviously getting the labels, but how did you approach it as a whole?
Well, what I did was and it's something that I always wanted to do. So it was a dream of mine. So it's something that I always wanted to own my own boutique, and I always wanted to have my own interior design firm. So for me, and especially, back then, my son was like one of the top, artists. And so it was pretty easy for me. So I was able to get pretty much what I wanted. So what I did was I went through all my brands in my closet. And so I reached out to the brands. I was like, open a new boutique, And then, of course, I had to name drop, because at first, I was crying because when I went to Fashion Week, nobody would sell it to me. Nobody would sell it to me. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I'm like, what am I going to do? I have the store. Nobody would sell it to me. Because it's hard getting those brands. Yeah. So then I remember calling someone in the fashion industry, and I was like, you know what? I'm at market, and nobody would sell it to me. And they're not opening any new accounts. And so there's let me make a phone call. It was somebody very high end, higher up in the fashion industry. And they did that. And they was like, so give me 20 minutes and call them back. So I gave them 20 minutes. I called back. And they were like, okay, somebody's going to come and meet you. So somebody came and met me. And then it was tell us which brands you want. And so I did. So I got all my brands.
That's amazing. It is. I think it can be hard. And a lot of the people who listen to this, some are apparel stores, but by far and large, it's gift. And I always say gift and apparel are very different. When I say why compare the gift shows and the apparel shows, gift, and no offense, everybody, at the lowest, no offense, everybody, but gift is like old ladies in cat sweaters, and fashion is loud. It's music. It's sexy. It's there is nothing like going to Fashion Week as opposed to gift shows. It's very different. And you think for the gift people who are listening, you think it's hard to get a brand if, it's zip code protected. Try getting a brand like an apparel brand that is so sought after, Mother Denim, for one. They do not sell to everybody. They want pictures of your store. They want who else is hanging. I remember going through this when I had my stores at Fred Siegel, and it was between fighting for all the lines that, my other Fred Siegel stores had within the area. And then people wanting to see, we want pictures of your store. Who else is hanging in the store? Factors that gift people do not have to deal with. Maybe some gift, but really by far and large, no, not compared to fashion.
No, you can pretty much buy whatever you want at the gift show, but apparel is totally different. It's hard.
So once that door was open, how did you approach your space? Your space isn't the space you're in now, correct?
No. It was a space in Duluth. So what I did was I had a really big grand opening. I had a little store, like it was in my neighborhood. It was something that I didn't want to get something that was too expensive, like 1,300 square feet. Back then, my lease was like $2,200 a month versus what I'm paying now, because now it's just crazy. Like my lease is expensive. It's like being on Rodeo Drive.
That area is real cool though.
It's cool, but it's pricey over there. So what I did was I hired PR, I had marketing. So I had a whole plan, a whole rollout. And I wanted to treat that store, because it was so far from the airport. It was like way out in Duluth. I wanted to treat that store like a destination spot. So when you came to Atlanta, you knew to come to the Taste Boutique. And so, and I had a huge grand opening. So when people came in town, they would always come to my store. And plus I was known for fashion. Like that's something that I'm known for, is fashion.
Well, I mean, like I said, you're walking into your store, you yourself, but walking into your store and seeing how curated the racks are, like I just knew, and it was so different than most of the stores that I will admit, I don't get out in Atlanta very often, and that I actually happened to stumble into that area because I was at the Now Massage around the corner. I had no idea that little district even existed. And then going into it in the restaurants and some of the other stores, but your store so stands out from any of the stores I've really been into in Atlanta, because it does feel like LA. It does feel like a curated experience from a stylist. So it does make sense to me now.
Yes. And I wanted, with this store right here, what makes this store different from, my other stores is that I wanted this store to be more elevated. I wanted it to look like, like something that we don't see, because most boutiques don't put that much money into the build out. I put a lot of money into my build out. And I wanted, when people came into the store, I wanted them to feel like it was an experience. You can feel the energy. You can feel like it feels very peaceful and joy. And it's just, it's calming. And that's what I wanted to create in that space. And that's what I did. So when people come in there, they feel that energy. I feel like, and I tell my stylist that works for me, I'm like, listen, we are selling an experience, because when somebody have a good experience, then what they would do is they would spread the word about the experience. Mm-hmm. So that's how this store has been very, successful, because that's what I do.
So how many, do you have the Duluth store still, or is it just the Atlanta?
Just the Atlanta store. That's the only one I have now. And I'm online.
Did you have multiple stores going at the same time?
No. Well, I did. I had two going at the same time, and that was a lot. So it's kind of hard doing like interior design and the boutique, because the boutique they both require a lot of my time. So I'm very involved with both of them. So this store is a little tough, because it's a different day now. Like, it's different. People are not spending like they used to spend. So this store has been really challenging. I have to really think about creative things and, things, events, and just to get people to come into the store.
With the Duluth store, how long did you have that before you changed to the new location, and why did you change to the new location? I don't think I asked you that when I saw you.
Yeah, I had that store like way back in the day, like 2009. Okay. So I was there for about maybe I want to say 8 to 9 years. And then I got a better opportunity to open up another store at Atlantic Station. So from that store, then I had another opportunity to open up another store in Buckhead. Then from Buckhead, they sold the shopping center. So then I had an opportunity to open up the store at the Interlock. So that store I built from the ground up.
At what point did you close the other ones and keep the other? And then was this during pandemic? Like what happened?
So during the pandemic, I had just got this new location, and then the pandemic, and I'm like, oh my God, I hadn't even started building my store yet. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're kidding me. So I'm like, I was a nervous wreck. I'm like, oh my God, this is like my retirement money. Like I'm not in a place to lose any money. And so I was really, really scared. But so before that store, my current store, I had a store in Buckhead. And so what they did was, that was probably about 4 years ago, they sold that shopping center. So I was like, what? I wasn't even thinking about retail. I was still into my interior design. And then I had an opportunity to open this store at the Interlock. So I'm like, oh my God, another retail store. I don't know if I want to do this. This is a lot of work. I knew it was a lot of work. My son was like, Mom, don't do it. And I'm like, like, but it's gonna be a different store. Like, this store is gonna be like a lifestyle store. I want to have gifts. I want to have clothing. I want to have home decor. I wanted to have like a one-stop shop. So I'm like, this is gonna be something. It's gonna be something there for everybody. I want to have birthday cards. I want to have gift bags. I want to have all these different things. So, and that's what makes this store different as well, because it's not like your typical apparel clothing boutique. Because you can find more things in there than that. It's like home and gifts. It's a lot of different things in there.
So were you, when you had the Duluth store, you were still doing interior design, and are you still doing interior design now?
Yes, I'm still doing interior design. That's like really my main job, because, I do commercial and I do residential, and it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of, it's a lot of sketching. It's a lot of hands-on, so I do interior design Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, I work at the boutique.
Oh my God, you like no days off?
No.
I now I have to ask, I think, the obvious question, like how, because you were a stylist and you had all the brands, but you are an interior designer. How come you did not open a home store?
Because I think home stores are really hard. And plus home is expensive. Like they make you buy a lot.
Yeah.
So for me to buy like sofas and bedding and all that stuff, that would be a lot.
Okay.
And I need a bigger space. So that means it's going to be more money that I have to invest.
I wondered, because it's like knowing your foot is in both fashion and home and interior. It makes sense that now you would combine them and have houseware. Have home and have gift and have apparel all together as a whole.
Yes.
How would you characterize the store now? Like, as far as like, if it had to have a vibe, what would you say?
I would say the vibe in the store is, I would say to me, I think it's more like, LA, Miami, or like, yeah, like very, resort, like beachy. Is that kind of vibe to me.
So when we talked, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, because I think a lot of retailers run into this, both in gift and apparel. You sold brands in Duluth that were much higher end. You opened this store, you brought those brands over, and it's a different audience. What did that look like? And when the realization was that it's not the same customer and certain price points weren't selling, or was it ever style, or was it all price point driven?
It was all it was both, because in this location here, I tell everybody I don't know who my customer is. I get so many different customers because we have the hotel. So we have a lot of visitors. We have the colleges around there. So I'm buying for the students and the parents. So when I first opened the store, it was very high end, because I was thinking, I have a box service. So like my box customers, like they're high end clients. So I send them boxes. So once a month they get a box curated by me. So it's the higher end stuff. So like, okay, I'm
still kind of styling.
Yeah, I'm definitely still styling. But it's a box. So now you get a box once a month. So what I had to realize was that stuff wasn't moving as fast as the stuff with the lower price point. And then I started looking at my customers, and I'm like, I started being like, there's not a lot of people that's spending, $1,000 for an outfit. So I had to switch it real quick. I'm like, okay, once I get rid of this, I'm gonna start looking for some lower price point merchandise. I didn't want to go too low, but I wanted to keep it in the middle. I wanted the store to be, so I wanted to make sure it was something in there for everybody.
What would you say is your average price point now?
I would say now my average price point is I would say 125.
Okay, that's not bad because the first thing I thought of is like, obviously when you bring brands like that over, you are attached to them because you love them. And then and then you obviously have a lot of money tied up into them. So then you have a whole other emotion tied to that. Like when you started realizing things weren't selling, like how hard was it? Not ego wise, but kind of egos. How hard was it to like let go of these like coveted brands that you love and that you've worked to get and bring into the store and how hard was it to switch into lower brands,
It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard for me at all.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
I'm like, this is my money. It's like my money. And so like, this is my retirement money. So I switched it up real quick. I was not playing. It didn't take me no time to switch it.
No, I didn't get rid of the inventory. Did it?
Well, thank God. Like I would say, my boxes, because I sent it out, out the store. So I was able to send it to, my box customers.
And
even now, I still buy the higher end stuff, but I buy it for them. And I might have like maybe one small or one medium or some of that stuff, but I don't have a lot of it.
How was it when you decided to bring into the gift? How did you go about your curation of your gift at home?
Well, what I did was I thought about myself and I thought about my friends and I thought about, it's some people have like a lot of people, well, not a lot. Some people have everything, and it's not always about buying them something expensive. It's something that means something funny. Like most of my stuff in the store is hilarious. Like people come in the store and they be like, oh my God, because pretty much everything in the store, excuse my French, says fuck. Like
F bombs the phone.
Like it's something and they love it, So the gifts are very funny. Like they're good gifts. So I'm like, what do people use the most? Like what's something that you can give somebody? Like what do they use the most? And I'm like, people drink a lot of coffee. Especially with like during the pandemic, people was in the house. So I'm like, they drink a lot of coffee and tea. So I'm like, I want to get some fun mugs. Some really cute mugs that say funny stuff on them. Like, breakfast wine or cheer up fucker or, something like that.
Chez Gagne.
Yeah. Or I'm done period for the day. And then I got like, then I'm like, okay, people love to take showers. So I use shower bombs. So I got shower bombs. I got stuff that I would give to my friends if I was gifting.
That's a good way. So I'm guessing by judging by the brands, the names of those mugs that you sell, Chez Gagne, which we had Alex on the podcast, and I absolutely love her. I mean, I told her a story that I was a buyer for a 5-store pharmacy for a while, and I tested the waters with some F-bomb stuff, and it all like sold out. Like there's a very well-known, all sold out at the pharmacy. Like there's a very well-known pastor that is in the Calabasas Hills, and his church, like the Kardashians go to and what, his wife came in and bought so many of the F-bomb things to give out gifts to all these women that she knows. And it was funny, but I kept following that F-bomb trail. It was like, okay, if that sells, then this will sell. And it was like, at some point there was a major tipping point because all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, like there's a lot of F-bomb stuff. And like a customer came in and freaked out. Like I get, because it's a pharmacy. It's not, it's not the chic women's beauty. It's a pharmacy. And some man came in and flipped out and was like, this is why children are shooting each other. And like, that was the end of the F-bomb things. But F-bomb stuff sells, which is, well, we all who sell it, we all know it sells. That it's like, and it's fun and it's kitchen. I hate to say it, but F-bombs are the way to go.
I sell that stuff like crazy. Like I sell a lot of it. I sell a lot. I sell a lot of it. I'm telling you, I get shipments like every other week.
I mean, it's fashion, I feel like, pink and fashion are the same.
Yeah, same thing. So I have a question for you. When you came into my store, what did you think?
It's like I said, you can tell, me, because my background's fashion. I told you I had stores at Fred Siegel for years, and my true love is fashion. I may not dress fashion, but I have a true appreciation for it. Like, and some of the high-end brands like Chaser t-shirts, like dumb, like stuff that I can still wear that's still quote fashion. I still love, but by far and large, I do not dress fashion every day because of work. I have to wear leggings and I'm bending over, picking things up. I'm on ladders. But from being in that world and have my true love of fashion, when I go in stores, like it's very, I can tell right away, like when something's very well curated. And between the racks being curated and the patterns and how they were merchandised, because merchandising, a lot of retailers don't understand when you're merchandising fashion, it's very different than merchandising gift. And how things look on a rack and how your rack is laid out as far as like this shirt, like Anthro, and Anthro's not like high fashion, but Anthro is the epitome is merchandising. And when we would build a rail, it was everything on that rail was wearable together. So it was, you know, the blouse and the denim, and there's a jacket and there's a layering piece, and then the pattern continued. Yours was very much like that. It was, you know, the army, I forget what pants I was looking at, those army pants.
The camo, those camo, those army.
And the blouses or the t-shirts to be worn with them, and then jackets. So, I mean, I could tell it's curated, but then when you start going in and looking at how your fitting rooms look and what they feel like and what the drapes look like and how full they are when you close them, that is always a sign of, to me, a well done store, because I think a lot of people just throw curtains up and they're like thin and there's not enough of them. Like there's something, Janine at Fred Siegel Flair had big, thick, luxurious, like huddle on the ground curtains that were fitting room curtains. And that is always one of those things that stands out. The coffee table books that you sold, the candle lines that you sold, like it's all very curated. And then on top of it, the design scope of it, it was modern, it was chic, it was sexy. And that's always the other one. It's not your store-bought fixtures. I'll take that counter from whatever fixture company. I mean, you could tell it was built out. So, you know, like walking in, like I was already like, wow, this is so beautiful. And then you yourself was like, I came home to my husband. I said, I just met the most beautiful woman. She was like so chic. And we started up this conversation, and it was just one of those experiences, like, cause I talk to a lot of people, but I don't go into a retail store. I don't talk to a lot of people in a retail store. I don't know why, but for some reason there was this, I mean, the whole experience was incredible. And I'm, like I said, I'm so grateful that you came on, because your brand and what, all the way from what you look like to the fitting rooms, to the clothing, to the styling, to the curation, all of it, I think that people don't understand that all is what a brand is. And from top to bottom to the person selling, that is all part of what your brand is. And I think that, you know, when I talk to people and they don't like, one thing I do notice, and I'm going to go backwards, is when you go into stores and it's not the owner or whoever, and they've got Susie Q who's in there, and she's in whatever outfit and she's chewing gum and she's on the phone, she doesn't say hello, there's no engagement. Like that is a reflection of your store and your lifestyle. And like I said, when you going in and being there and talking and you were talking to somebody else in a fitting room, and there was just something about it that for me, in being in retail my entire life and out of fashion, that was very, I don't know. I was gobsmacked, I guess I could say.
Because I wanted,
but that's a question.
Yeah. So, because what I wanted people to experience was the experience that I get when I go into Chanel, or when I'm going to Hermes, or when I'm going to Gucci, or when I'm going to Prada, all these high-end designer boutiques, the way they treat me, you know, they treat me like I'm their friend. And we hang out, we drink, they pop a bottle of champagne, like they treat me like, and I don't even have to spend money in there. I'm just going to like, Teresa, da, da, da. It's like I just know all of them, and I wanted to give my customers that same experience. Like that was so important to me. And even my staff know I do not play. Like my stylists at my store, they have to act just like me. You know, remember your customer's name. Get your clientele book. Call your customers. You know, you don't have to call them and say you want to buy from this. Call them just to like, or send them a text message, like something, just letting them know, like, just thinking of me today. How are you? Like, and it worked because my customers, when I tell you, they are loyal. They're loyal.
I want to touch on that customer service aspect for a second, because one thing I will say, what I do now is I basically take everything, all my experiences from Fred Siegel to anthropology, and the Fred Siegel element and that element of customer service and spoon feeding my customers. And all of my staff had clientele books. Clientele books is an old school way, but let me tell you right now, like, it works. And the whole philosophy of treating your customer like your friend and knowing their name and your kids and how was your vacation, and oh my gosh, and then to be able to have your staff, like my staff was so good. Like, we get in shipments and they'd pull clients' things and they'd call them and say, hey, I know you wanted this. I pulled it already. They haven't even hit the floor. I pulled them for you. They're here for you. Come in. 9 times out of 10, they will come down. 9 times out of 10, they are so appreciative of you, thought of them. You went through the whole thing of pulling something that didn't even hit the floor for them. That is one thing, customer service, very little exists now. And when I hear people like Amazon's going to take over, it's like bullshit. Like, if your customer service is there and you are there and you're taking care of your customer, you're spoon feeding them and you're calling them and sending them texts, like, just thinking about you, just want to know how's everything going or what, like that. Amazon is never going to do that, ever.
No,
like
ever.
Like, when I hear customer service philosophy like that is so incredibly important for the people that are listening. Like, if you don't do that, like, you don't have to go the extreme, but know your customers and treat them like friends. And it was funny because Fred, you've met Fred, because Freddie, like, for those that don't know, Fred was always wearing a pair of baggy pants, a t-shirt. He didn't drive some big old posh car. He carried his little canvas Fred Siegel bag around, and he had his houseman, Eddie, who carried all his supplements and his food and stuff for him. And people, like, I had clients, I remember I was taking care of, there's a couple like stockbroker guys that came in all the time to see me when I was working in the men's department before I was an owner. And the same thing, I knew all their names, I knew their sizes. They'd come in, I'd start pulling sizes for them. Like, okay, you guys, because let's be honest, men are the best people to shop for, because they're like,
so easy. Aren't they easy?
Like, one of the guys comes out and he's like, hey, I just saw this homeless guy out here and he's like carrying a Fred Siegel bag. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, did he have gray hair? And he goes, yeah. I go, that was Fred. And he's like, oh my God. And I think there was so many people that judge people, like, what they wear and what they dress like when they go into stores and stuff like that. And it's like to treat your customers like friends, and you know them and you treat everybody like, how are you? Blah, blah. Like, I think that speaks volumes as far as who you are in your store and your staff and your customer service.
I totally agree. And I don't like, and I tell my stylist, don't smother them. Like, I can't stand when people do that with me. Like, to me, when I go on boutiques or stores, greet me, yes, and I'm going to say hi back. But ask if I need help. And if I say I'm good, then just leave me be. I'm that customer, because I'm a stylist and I'm trying to create. So I don't need you to keep coming up to me. Hey, are you okay? Do you need? Don't do that. Like, it drives me nuts. So we do not do that. I'm like, you're telling them your name. You're saying, hi, my name is Teresa. Let me know if there's anything that I can help you with. So if they need help with something, or you see something in their hand, grab it and then you can say, would you like me to start a fitting room with you? For you. So to me, I like that. I don't want nobody like just smother at me. Like, it keep bringing me.
That's the fastest way to get me out of a store.
Oh, that's the fastest way to get me out of a store. That is the fastest way to get me out of a store. Do not smother me. Don't do that. And you know what else? And don't have the racks so full. If those racks are stuffed and all that stuff, I have OCD on 1,000. I cannot do it. I can't shop.
I'll admit I was really bad about that at the pharmacy, because we did it was funny because a lot of gift lines are starting to bring apparel into the line. Mud Pie introduced apparel. Demdaco has a pajama line. And
yes.
a lot of brands that have apparel because they know apparel sells. And I started bringing in apparel into some of my pharmacies I worked for, and I test it with whatever. And it was every single store I brought into, apparel was the number one driver of business over and above everything in the gift department. So I, being a person driven by numbers and very competitive with myself, I was like, okay, we're going to one up our numbers. So when I did those racks, they were, I'm not going to lie, they were packed.
Oh my God. You got it.
So bad. I know because I was getting frustrated going through them. But I will admit, I was so driven by sales and by numbers because in the pharmacy, there's no one on the floor. There wasn't,
Right.
and Erin and her team when they were there, but there was the hours that those guys, if there's not a salesperson on the floor, it had to be there, easy for them to find their size, whatnot. And it had to like have that yumminess of like abundance. I went a bit over the top, but our average price point was $40. So it wasn't like I'm jamming $150 blouse.
Right. That's if I walk into a store and it's like those racks are with like full with clutter with all them clothes, I walk in, I walk out. I can't shop that way.
It's overwhelming. And I think even for like, it's like Forever 21. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's so much going on, and there's there's a place for it, but I think in higher fashion and higher price points, it is too much. And also what happens, and I have this in one of my stores right now that I work with, is there is so much out that it looks like Costco, that it doesn't look special. It doesn't look like, I mean, there needs to be abundance, but I think when you have something that is expensive and you have so much of it out, you now have given it the Costco effect. And now it doesn't look special because there's 50 other ones there with it. There's that fine line, but I was definitely the talker of the bad. I know. Bad. Oh my God. So tell me a little bit about some, like, because I never get fashion people on. I mean, I have some, but it's by far and large is gift driven. Tell me some of your favorite fashion trends that are going on right now and what you see coming down the pipeline for, just like mid-range fashion, as well as like some high fashion. That's because we all know high fashion translates down to the fast fashion world.
Yes. I think camo. Camo it's huge. Like I feel like it's that we're going to see a lot of it this fall.
Yay!
People love camo. Like I don't think camo will ever go out of style. And I know like that's one of my top sellers. Anything camo, I can sell it with my eyes closed.
So you. More your stuff, because is it a lot of it like just street camo, or are they like reinventing it by adding like the neon stitching and like some of the patches? And
so yeah, it's vintage. So like a lot of my camo pants, a lot of my camo stuff is vintage. So it's camo pants, and we rework it, like we'll redesign it.
Oh my God, I can't wait to back there. I still kick myself that I didn't get those damn pants. So.
I know they're so, and I just designed some new ones. They're so cute. So I think camo, I think blazers. I think blazers are definitely going to be big for fall. The wide leg jeans are not going anywhere. The rips, all the rips in the jeans, people love them. What are they? Then the rips in the jeans, like the distressed jeans.
What about the barrel jeans? Because not a lot of people can wear those.
Yes, like I had to buy into the trend. To me, that's a trend. I was just talking about that trend today. And I said, those barrel jeans are not here to stay. That's just a trend. I just don't think they're here to stay for a long time. It's kind of like straight leg jeans, the peg leg jeans. Those, you don't hardly see people wearing those anymore. I mean, those to me, the straight leg, the tight peg leg jeans, to me, those jeans are meant to be worn with a boot, like a tall
Thank
boot.
you. Okay, thank you.
I would never style them with some heels. I would style them with some boots,
How do you see camo being dressed up or dressed down? Like, how are you seeing it styled?
I think it's more tomboy, chic, sexy.
So, like, what's an example?
An example is like, because they're kind of baggy, So Tom, like the camel pants baggy with a heel or a booty. You can kind of wear those with anything. And then you can wear them with like a dressy shirt. You can wear them with like a hoodie, a vintage rock and roll t-shirt, with some stones on it. Like that, or a denim shirt. You can style camel a lot of different ways. You just up or down. It doesn't matter.
I love hearing like how the sun, and then some of your other fall or your other fashion favorites.
Another one of my fashion favorites is, I will say, like I told you, I wasn't getting into the barrel jean trend. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I tried on a pair and I'm into them now. But it's tricky. They're tricky.
You could pull them. I have to pull up this one lady that I follow on Instagram because she is stunning. She's like 40 something. She does all her whole Instagram feed is just the shot of she just goes up in the camera. She's whatever she's wearing. She steps back, but her styling is insane. I had the real, yeah, I'll find her and I'll bring her up because she reminds me a lot of you, where she's very tall and like yourself. She's super chic. Like she'll do a headscarf and these glasses and this big jewelry and like super low cut shirt and then like barrel jeans. And I mean, sorry, I'm like now like going off topic.
Yeah, the barrel jeans. I was not into that trend, but I'm so into it now. But I'm not buying a lot of it, the barrel jeans for the store. I just don't want to get stuck with them because I feel like they're not for everybody. Everybody can't pull those off. And I didn't think I can pull them off because I'm like, I can't pull these jeans off because they're kind of short. I mean, they're not long. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to wear these? How are you not? Yeah, I'm like, how do you wear these things? So then I tried on a pair and I'm like, oh, okay, I like these.
How are you styling yours?
Well, I wore mine with some heels. And I wore with a blazer, and I wore like a little a low cut t-shirt with stones on it. So it's kind of like,
it's showing her. So Fola, Folakeh Huntoon.
Oh, Fola.
Fola.
Okay, Fola. Okay. I gotta look at that. Let me write that down. We're on camel now. Look, I have on camel right now. I wear camel all the time.
Those are now are those shorts?
These are shorts. I wear camel. Camel is
so
easy.
Cute.
So it's F. How do you spell her name?
Folakeh Huntoon. Huntoon.
Okay.
He can an outfit, man. She like so I like seeing barrel jeans and I'm like and it's so how as a buyer how do you navigate like this is on trend and how much do you bring in and how do you navigate your way through testing something and then going full on?
So with the barrel jeans, I'm testing them, so I don't buy a lot. Like I might buy, at my store, I know my sizes. Like I know what sizes sell, so I'll buy like a couple, like 225s, 226, 27, 28, 29, 30, and that's stop. Yeah. And then because I'm like, I don't want to get stuck with this stuff. So then if it sells really good, then I'll just call the brand and be like, I need to reorder.
Will you dip into other brands, like, have barrel jeans from like 3 different, like, or anything like that style wise, like, blazers, I'm sure that you've got probably 2 weekenders, but will you dip like in a trending item like that? Would you, if it starts selling, would you start pulling it in from other vendors and other fabrics?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I did now, I have, a pricier pair of the barrel jeans, and then I have a pair that's not so pricey. So I wanted to make sure everybody they can buy them. Because I have this clientele over here, then I have this clientele over here. So I had to make sure I service both. Some of my clients are brand driven and some of them don't care. Like I don't care. As long as they fit well, I'm good. Some of them are not like that.
Yeah, I can't do well. I mean, I told you I moved to Oregon, and the shopping here is like, I'm not kidding you. It's a Walmart, Target.
I would lose my mind. No fashion.
There. I mean, like I said, I don't dress super fashion anyway because there's not a lot. I mean, especially now, there's really nowhere to wear it. But even in my everyday life, when I was in California, like I do the show working as a merchandiser, and I'm in leggings and t-shirts. It may be $100 t-shirt, but I'm in leggings and t-shirts.
Right.
I transitioned to being a buyer. I'm still not super dressed. It's like denim and a blazer or a dress, but I still don't, I don't go too far out of my scope. But now that I'm here oh my God, there's like A, nowhere to wear it, and B, nowhere to buy it.
I couldn't do it. I want to say you do it. I love fashion. But I like to dress up. Like I like to get dressed and look nice every single day.
Well, do you follow Shop with Caroline?
You know, you told me to follow her and I started following her. Yes.
So her whole thing is like, get up and get dressed because it makes you feel better. And I'm here on my day off and I'm in exactly the same thing I wear.
It all depends. I think it all depends on the person. Some people, they don't have to have all that.
But I think dress though, like getting dressed and putting your makeup on and
oh my God, that's a lot.
But I feel like it makes you feel better. Like
it does. It really does. When I'm made up and I'm dressed up, like I feel beautiful. Well, I'm the type of woman who I feel like no matter what, I feel beautiful every day. I mean, that's what I tell myself every day.
You are.
So thank you. So no matter how I'm feeling or how I'm looking with makeup or without makeup, I still feel beautiful. But when I put on that makeup and put on me some heels, then I think I'm super fly. I think I'm like the hot girl.
I think it's so important. I think it's, I love that like you like, and again, I think it's an extension of your business. I mean, you hold yourself, you are your business. You are, like not beholden, but you are your business. I mean, and you are the lifestyle and you are the example of your business.
Yeah. And I had to learn it the hard way because everybody comes saying, Teresa, because I was paying like models to model the clothes for the store. And I'm like, I paid them this money and I don't sell anything. Like it's just not working. So people were like, Teresa, you are the brand. I'm like, don't nobody want to look like me. Why would someone want to wear something I have on? And then they were like, Teresa, trust me, the way you put it together, it's going to work. And I did it. I started posting on my page. I mean, I went from like probably 50,000 followers to like 150 plus thousand followers.
I feel like 50,000, like it was a small amount. I'm like,
but now I went to like 150,000 and every single thing that I post, everything, if I got dressed up every day and had a camera and do it, I would be filthy rich. But I'm like, I don't have the time to do it. But when I post up on my page, I sell out of everything that I post.
Well, you are your salesperson. I mean,
I am my brand. Yeah,
that is important. And I think that, for stores that don't give discounts to their employees to wear clothing or whatnot, it's like that is important because it's you want them wearing the brand and the lifestyle part.
Absolutely. And I do that. I give my stylist free stuff all the time. Or I have some of my brands, my gifts. You want to, like, 'cause for me, it's like, if you want me to represent your brand, like the right way, like my style is like, but they make decent money, but still I'm like, give them a shirt, give them a pair of jeans, just gift it to them. It's only like 3 of them. Just gift it to them, give them a necklace, give them something. And they do that and they wear and they sell it. Because they have to do
and they love it. I mean, it's like it's like that makes them feel appreciative. That makes also them take ownership of the store and like really care because somebody cared for them and gave them something. And it's like there's a pride thing in there.
Yes, it is. It really is. I'm lucky to have. I have some great employees.
So tell me what does because this will be coming out, I think, in November. So what does December look like in your store as far as events and clothing and what does gift giving look like in your store?
So for Christmas, of course, I decorate and make sure my window is really pretty. I have a beautiful tree, so it's really pretty. I have the big balls belts and, you know, all that stuff. I try to make it look like, you know, like a Prada or a Chanel, like that. I make it look really pretty. And then as far as gifts, you know, I make sure I have like pajamas. I make sure I have like slippers, which I already don't order that stuff. You know, we order in advance.
Yes.
So slippers, I don't really get too into gift giving because for some reason, like ever since I've had my boutiques, boutiques really don't make a lot of money during Christmas because people they don't really come to a boutique to buy gifts. Maybe their husbands or their boyfriend. But yeah, they're not coming to a boutique. So our sales are down. So I try to do like a Christmas event. I try to have a Christmas party, something to drive sales because the people are not coming in. Plus my store, I'm outside. So it's not like you're walking into a mall. It's outside and it's cool. So in Atlanta, they really don't come outside when the weather's bad here.
You don't need.
So I try to, you know, they try to think of different things to do. Dinners.
You love marketing. So dinners, like how do you drive business to your stores, and what do events do not only for your store, but what do they for sales? What do they do for sales, and how do you market them?
So my events, I do extremely well. I can have one event and I will make enough money to where I really don't even have to really open a store pretty much the rest of the month. My events, my events are huge. I just had an event and I had probably like 165 people there. It was packed. Wow. I market them. I have an email list that I send out. I try not to do events often. I try to do an event once a month. It's something different. So I do a collab with someone. And the reason why I like to do collab with someone is because I'm bringing them different. We're working together. So their customers are coming to me and then my customers are buying their stuff. So it works. So I try to team up with someone once a month. And that's helping me get the word out and it's helping them get the word out about their businesses and their whatever they're selling. Like it can be like a chef. Like one time I did a brunch, you know, it was a new restaurant. So I did a brunch. So now people go to the restaurant. I did it with the chef. So they had like different things from the menu there. Last weekend I did an event with she's a designer. She has really nice, you will love her stuff. Cool vintage stuff. And we teamed up together. We did a collaboration. So it was a taste and Miami collaboration. So I helped her design something special for the boutique and it worked. So the next event that I'm doing is I'm bringing in curvy. So I know here in Atlanta, I noticed that a lot of women that come in the store, they're not a 2, 4, 6, 8. There can be a 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And you know, a lot of these brands they don't go up to like both sizes. So I have curated a whole taste curvy brands. And so I'm going to launch that in September 12th. Wow. So now I'm bringing the taste curvy. So now I'm going to start marketing that and you know, and getting all my curvy girls, let them know like now got something new come to the store. It's going to be a taste curvy dinner. So it's going to be a dinner. So I'm teaming up with a celebrity chef that's going to make the dinner. And then I have a person there play the saxophone. So it's going to be like a more upscale event.
So when you cause I know a lot of stores are like, we want to collab, like how does it work with the collab so everyone kind of understands, like, is it, because I know a lot of people think a collab is like a trunk show. I don't really feel like that's a collaboration. So tell them like what a collaboration means and what it does for each party.
So a collaboration normally means like you team up with someone, like it can be a brand or it could be someone who, like I said, like I'm teaming up with a chef.
Oh, that.
So that chef, the people that I do my collabs with, they have tons of followers. Like they have anywhere between 350 to 5 million followers. You know, so by us like I had a conference call today with a person who owns a lot of restaurants, and she has probably like 3 million followers. So I'm very honest. Like when I need help, I need help. I'm not afraid to say I don't need help. Like I will call you or I will send you a DM and be like, you know what? Hey, I need help. I don't need any money, but I want to do a collab together. Like let's work together. Women working together. I feel like we don't do that, you know, and I feel like it's important to me that we work together. That was one of my goals for 2024 and it's worked so far. So she was like, okay, I need you. And she said, I need you to style me and you need my followers. I said, absolutely. So it's a win-win for both. So I'm going to start styling her, and then she's going to do an event at the store. And then we're going to do something together with my videographer, and we're going to have them record me styling her. And then we both going to post it on our page. We'll do a collaboration. So you can do a collaboration on Instagram to where you both are posted. It goes, it's both of you. It's on both of your pages.
That's great. Yeah.
So it works together. We're helping each other.
Well, I love the idea of like thinking outside of the box as far as marketing things and working with the chef, because I don't think a lot of people would think about that, even in gift where they sell tabletop. So for the retailers that do sell tabletop, if you have a restaurant in your area, like have them come in and do a sampling and do the sampling of your beautiful plates that you sell and have because I think collabs, like there's so much potential, but I think much like social marketing, people get caught up in like, I don't know how it works. And I don't know. And they get caught up in the, not minutia, but overwhelmed with what it looks like and what it's supposed to be. And like, I think that thinking outside of the box, like going with the chef, I think that's brilliant because and I think your philosophy on women working with women is so important.
It's so important. And another thing I feel like a lot of times, like people don't really like to do collabs is because they feel like you're taking their followers. They don't want you to gain followers from them posting about you. So you have to take that out of your head. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if my followers start following you. I don't care about that. But a lot of people, they really care about that. They're like, oh my God, I'm really helping her. Like, she's going to gain a lot of followers if I post her. And they want to charge. I'm like, no, why? Why can't we help each other? I'm not about to pay you $5,000 for us to do a collab together. It's not going to happen. And then when I do these collabs, we split the price. Like if I gotta bring in a DJ and liquor, if I can't get a sponsor, a lot of times like I won't get a liquor sponsor. But if I can't get a sponsor, I'm like, listen, we have to split this. And then there's a contract. I make sure I have a contract. That's so important. Like it's everything that I'm gonna do, it's gonna be in a contract. It's gonna be, and we both gotta sign it.
That's great. I think that's really important. Yes. A lot of people like it's super loosey-goosey and
no, because you just never know. Anything can happen. No, I think so.
I have to ask you a question. I never get to ask this with, mostly like fat people don't have dressing rooms, but at Anthropologie, there's a lot of really crazy things that happen in the store, like on a day-to-day basis. So all the apparel people I have a chance to ask, like, what is some of the craziest things that have happened in your store?
What are some of the craziest things that happened in my store? I think in my store is people don't realize when they come out of those dressing rooms, sometimes they might not have a shirt on or something, trying to look at themselves in the mirror, and they don't realize that the doors are open. Like there's a lot of traffic. And there's a lot of traffic. And so they're like, oh, and I'm like, oh my God, like that has definitely happened. That happens a lot. And it happened to me too. I did it too one time. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. Like they can see me. Like, cause you're not thinking they can see you, but I'm like, there's cars right there. They can see me. So that has happened. I really don't really have too many crazy things that has happened at my store.
Oh my God.
I don't have that. Like, people are just sweet.
It hasn't come out yet. I had a pre-call with a store. She's a lingerie store and she's kind of breaking the rules on how lingerie stores are done. And as well as one of the most brilliant things I think, cause she bought a failing older store that like a bunch of old ladies ran. It was like old lady lingerie. And she's changing on how the setup is. She's trying to bring in that younger. And one of the things she's done is created a newsletter that goes out, and in the newsletter, she's calling people out on bad behavior. It's like not by name, but like this week we had a customer come in and she said, I was like, that's kind of brilliant because it's kind of like for retail that deals with, especially very specialized, like me and Anthro, I can't even tell you some of the stories that have happened in that store with just the general public, when you're dealing with like thousands of people coming in on a Saturday, it's like nightmarish. And she is downtown Chicago, and she's like, says this newsletter, she started to call people out. And she said, what it's done is really the bad people, the bad behavior, if you're being bad. She goes, those people have kind of been weeded out. And she said, and the other people, it's really made them stand up and be more respectful and more understanding. And I'm like, it's like reverse schooling your clientele. I'm like, that's brilliant.
That is hilarious. Thank God. I have customers like I had a customer that tried on something white and she had makeup on, and she was like, I'm so sorry, but I just want to let you know that I tried this dress on and I have makeup on my face and makeup is all over the dress. I would pay, to put it. And I was like, no, like that happens. Like, so now I have like the makeup bags to put over the face. But they'll tell me, like, I don't have any.
You're very lucky because 9 times out of 10, like you're walking out with makeup all over things or scarf or broken zippers or like walking to me what people act like when they get into some of these stores. And it's like you are like this really small specialty boutiques don't see the volume and that level of humanity. It's like horrifying.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, maybe because my store is very like intimate. We don't really see that. Thank God. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my goodness, I would have a fit. Like what? I would probably do the same thing. I would call them out as well, but not their name.
I have stories of Anthro that I wish it's shocking, like how people act when they're not in their own homes or they're not around. Because some of this behavior people do not do. It's like for whatever reason they decide that it's okay to do it in a public space, someone's retail store. It's like.
Oh my God.
I always ask creative people this question is how do you stay inspired? And I mean, how do you stay inspired? How do you stay on the fringe of exactly what's going on in fashion? Like, how do you keep yourself like excited and motivated and inspired?
My customers, they inspire me. Like my taste babes, I call them taste babes. My taste babes, like they inspire me because the feedback that I get from them and just seeing how happy and how beautiful they feel in their clothes. It just makes me want to just keep going harder. And then when people say great comments, like I'm like so blessed because I don't really get any negative comments. Like people, and then sometimes I might feel like I want to give up. Like, I'm like, this is just a lot. Like, it's a lot of work. And then my taste babes, they inspire me to keep pushing. They're like, no, we're not going to let you do that. Like, no, Teresa, you got this, and so my son, he inspires me because he works so hard. He works really hard and he makes me want to, keep pushing it and do better. I feel like, and my granddaughter, like just seeing her think that I am fashion. She was like, you know what? Ask my Tima. She knows she loves fashion. She knows. Like, and then for her to call me, but like, Tima, I'm gonna go see Chris Brown, and what do you think of my outfit? Like she trusts my opinion.
So cute.
They all inspire me.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that you've built this community in Atlanta. I love that I've had the chance to talk to you and talk fashion and all the things I love and get to know you better. And I am honored again that you spent this time with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Please give everyone your socials so everyone knows how to find you, as well as your website so people can go and see your fabulous fashion.
Yes. So my website is the Taste, T-H-E, taste like you're tasting some food, boutique.com. So thetasteboutique.com. My Instagram, people always ask me this. I'm like, what is it? It's ms.teresa, Teresa, Caldwell, Caldwell. That's my Instagram.
Does the Taste have an Instagram?
Oh yeah, the Taste. It's the Taste boutique.atl. That's the Taste Instagram.
So we have your fashion, styling, personal account. We have the Taste, and then your website. Thank you.
And then we have my interior design as well.
Oh.
It's tasteinteriordesign.com. And then my Instagram is Taste Interior Design.
Did you put all this information in your intake form?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. So we'll make sure we have all of these things in the show notes for everyone so they can go and find you and follow you. And I will see you when I get to Atlanta.
Yes.
Thanksgiving. You're around Thanksgiving weekend?
Yes, I will be here.
So we arrive, I think, this Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping to be able to get out and about that first week of December.
Let's go grab a bite or grab a cocktail.
I would love to, because I'm going to be, this time I'm going to be there for almost 3 weeks again.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'll be home for Christmas though. So that's really important to me. But it will be, I mean, I used to come to Atlanta all the time. I've been coming to Atlanta for 18 years, twice a year. It's always, this trip's always my favorite because the city's decorated and the big mansions, when you drive through some of these neighborhoods, are all decked out, and the botanical gardens is hands down
so pretty
thing to do at the holidays. So maybe that's what we do. We do the botanical garden together.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.